15 baboons that messed with the wrong opponent. Do you think you've seen it all in the animal kingdom? Then get ready. Today we're diving into wild encounters no one expected. Bold, daring, fearless baboons, but ones that picked the wrong prey to mess with. From clashes against lightning-fast carnivores to showdowns with giant, nearly unbeatable beasts, each scene proves how unpredictable nature can be, and how courage alone isn't always enough to guarantee victory. Some of these baboons relied on intelligence and teamwork to try and turn the tables. Others trusted only brute force and paid the price. And in some cases, their audacity will leave you speechless. In the end, only one question remains. Is it really worth challenging predators that are much bigger and stronger? Get ready, because this list will hold you until the very end. After all, when it comes to 15 baboons that messed with the wrong opponent, the jungle always has a lesson to teach. But before we begin, make sure to subscribe to our channel and leave your like. Now, let's get started. Number 15, Baboon versus Lion. Picture the African savanna at sunset. The wind lifts golden dust, zebras graze in the distance, and suddenly the silence breaks. On one side emerges the absolute king, the lion, his mane glowing under the fading sun, the very embodiment of animal royalty. On the other side, moving with quick, nervous steps, a baboon approaches. Not just any primate, muscular, teeth bared, ready to prove that even before the king, he's got some tricks up his sleeve. The baboon may not be the largest, but he's lightning fast. With powerful limbs, long arms, and sharp claws, he's pure explosion in combat. And his canines? They're bigger than a leopard's. Yes, you read that right. That mouth that looks like it's smiling is actually a weapon, capable of tearing flesh in seconds. But it's not just brute force. The baboon has brains, strategy, knows how to attack in groups, distract, retreat, and return. One-on-one, he bets on speed, unpredictable leaps, and deadly bites. The lion, however, needs no introduction. Nearly 200 kilos of muscle, retractable claws like sabers, jaws that crush bones with over 600 kilos of pressure per square centimeter. No animal in the savannah fails to tremble at his roar. He's not just strength, he's a perfected predator, knowing when to save energy, when to attack, and when he does. He's a golden lightning bolt falling on his prey. In a direct clash, the baboon could dodge, land quick bites, use agility to surprise. He might even claw the king's mane, maybe make the lion hesitate for a second, but the truth is harsh. One single powerful swipe from the lion's paw changes everything. The strength of a predator this size is overwhelming. One-on-one, without allies or escape, the baboon is at a disadvantage. Verdict: the lion wins. He's the heavyweight of the savannah, the unbeatable gladiator. The baboon is fierce, agile, even scary to smaller predators, but against the king, no strategy holds. Now, between us, if you had to choose, would you rather be the lion with crushing strength and sovereign title, or the baboon, fast, clever, full of tricks and surprises? Come on, admit it. You imagined yourself leaping from a branch and startling the king of the jungle, didn't you? Number 14, Baboon versus Leopard. Picture the African savanna, heat shimmering on the horizon, and suddenly an unlikely clash of titans. On one side, the baboon. Don't be fooled by the funny monkey look. This guy's a compact tank of muscle, teeth that would make a wolf jealous, and courage bordering on madness. On the other side, the leopard. Pure feline elegance, a blur of flexible muscles, sharp fangs, and eyes that spot weakness before it even exists. The baboon isn't just any fighter. His jaws are weapons of destruction, capable of breaking bones with a bite exceeding 500 psi, and he doesn't fight alone. In a group, he forms an organized gang, screaming, charging, biting from all sides. But even solo, he's no easy prey. He rips out fur, scratches, kicks, and never hesitates to turn his teeth into sabers piercing flesh. He's a warrior that fights to his last breath. The leopard, though, is pure strategy. This cat doesn't fight to prove a point, he fights to end it. His muscles are steel cables under golden spots, and every leap is a controlled explosion. While the baboon thrives on brute force and chaos, the leopard bets on precision. He goes straight for the jugular, knows where to grip, when to back off, and when to return for the killing blow. He's like a trained assassin, efficient, cold, and meticulous. Strength versus technique, noise versus silence, resilience versus lethality. The baboon may intimidate, may even wound a careless leopard. He could tear flesh, resist with brute force, turn turned the fight into a bloody mess. But the leopard has the game changer: agility and surgical precision. One misstep and the baboon becomes a lifeless body under the predator's claws. The truth is, the fight only looks balanced at the start. Once the leopard decides to finish it, the scene ends quickly. Winner, the leopard. Not because the baboon is weak, but because the feline is built for this: hunt, neutralize, vanish into the night without breaking a sweat. Now tell me, if you were out there in the savannah, who would you pick as your ally? The loud, reckless baboon full of courage, or the calculating leopard who settles things in silence? Think carefully, because in this wild arena, there's no replay. Number 13, baboon versus spotted hyena. The baboon is no ordinary monkey. He's a muscle tank covered in fur with canines larger than a lion's. Yes, larger. And don't think they're just for show. Those teeth are sharp weapons, capable of ripping open careless predators. But his power doesn't end there. He's agile, fast, and highly intelligent. This primate knows how to work in groups, coordinating attacks and defenses like a military general. When provoked, he charges, screams, scratches, and bites like a true demon of the savannah. Anyone who's heard an enraged baboon knows it sounds like war is coming. Now, on the other side stands the spotted hyena. The name says it all. This isn't just a hyena, it's the turbo version. Its bite has over 500 kilos of force, crushing bones like biscuits. Forget the laughing hyena stereotype. In the savannah, it's a four-legged war machine. Tough, tireless, with a stomach that digests almost anything. Bones, hooves, even thick skin. And it doesn't stop there. The hyena is more than strong. It's a strategic hunter. It hunts in packs, chases prey for miles, and even alone rarely gives up a fight. Its secret? Endurance. While others tire, the hyena persists, biting, retreating, returning, until it wins by sheer attrition. Side by side, the baboon has intelligence, coordination, terrifying teeth, but his strategy usually depends on the group. Alone, he's vulnerable to larger predators. The hyena, on the other hand, is a monster of strength and endurance, even capable of facing lions on occasion. And while the baboon may scare off smaller predators with screams and threats, the hyena isn't easily intimidated. It takes blows, bites back, and usually comes out on top. In the end, in a direct fight, the spotted hyena has the advantage. Its bone-crushing bite and relentless stamina outweigh the baboon's courage and ferocity. As terrifying as the monkey is, before the hyena's jaws, he becomes prey. Now let me ask you, if it were you facing a spotted hyena, would you rather have a furious baboon at your side, or would you run on the spot? Come on, admit it. You've already imagined which one you'd pick as your savannah partner. Number 12, baboon versus Nile crocodile. The baboon is pure energy in the form of muscle and teeth. With canines that rival a lion's, he's not just a playful monkey stealing fruit from tourists, he's a warrior of the savannah. In groups, baboons are a noisy army, but even solo, a dominant male can be a terrifying opponent. These primates combine brute strength with intelligence. They know how to attack together, distract predators, and even use stones or branches as improvised weapons. Their bite force exceeds 500 pounds per square inch, enough to pierce thick hide and even bones. But it's not all about the bite. The baboon is agile, quick over short distances, with reflexes like an elite boxer. He can leap, grab, scratch, and retreat before the enemy even reacts. The problem? Despite all that bravado, his skin isn't armor. Against smaller prey, he's king. Against giants, he can become prey in seconds. Now, the Nile crocodile, that's a whole different story. We're talking about a prehistoric tank with serrated teeth and nearly impenetrable skin. This reptile doesn't need speed. It's patient, calculating, a true ambush assassin. Its bite force exceeds 3,700 pounds per square inch. It's like being crushed in a hydraulic press. And then comes its lethal technique, the death roll. Once it grabs, it spins like a turbine, ripping off flesh, bone, even entire limbs. In water, it's invincible, silent, deadly, invisible until the last second. On land, still dangerous, though its relative slowness offers opponents some chance. So who wins this duel? In a direct one-on-one, without a doubt, the Nile crocodile. Its crushing power, resilience, and unstoppable bite make the baboon a likely victim. As brave, fast, and clever as he is, the baboon cannot withstand tons of reptilian brutality. Maybe in a group, several baboons could harass or distract a crocodile, but in a solo clash, the outcome is almost certain. The crocodile takes the win. Now think about this. You, reader, safe and cozy, might be saying, I'd root for the baboon. He's smart, kinda like me when I try to solve problems head on. Sure, but beware. In real life, brains help, but when crushing force comes into play, everything changes. So tell me, are you more like the baboon, quick, agile, full of tricks, or more like the crocodile, patient, tough, with a grip that never lets go? Number 11, baboon versus jackal in groups. The baboon is not just a big monkey with a grumpy face. He is a tank of muscles with fangs that would make many carnivorous predators jealous. His canines can measure over 5 centimeters, larger even than those of a medium leopard. When he growls, it's not just intimidation, it's a warning that there's a bite there capable of breaking bones. And it doesn't stop there. These primates have incredible social cohesion. The dominant male leads, protects, and can mobilize the group with guttural calls, turning a simple encounter into a true storm of arms, teeth, and courage. A lone baboon is already complicated. In a group, they are practically tribal warriors armed to the teeth, literally. On the other side, the jackal. This medium-sized canid may not have the raw strength of a baboon, but underestimating it is a serious mistake. The jackal is cunning, strategic, and rarely hunts alone. The real power lies in the pack. United, jackals surround, distract, and wear down their prey until it gives in. They are fast, silent, and work as if they were a professional strike team. Every move is calculated. While one distracts from the front, another is already biting at the legs. It's pure coordination. They don't have the concentrated brutality of a primate, but they compensate with tactical intelligence and endurance. After all, it's no coincidence that they are natural survivors of the African savannas. So on one side, we have the baboon, strength, natural weapons, courage, and an almost insane sense of territorial defense. On the other, the jackal pack, speed, cooperation, and a strategy that seems straight out of a war manual. Raw strength versus collective intelligence. But who comes out on top? In most encounters, the baboon has the advantage. Why? Because he is not only physically superior, but also has a group as united, or even more united, than the jackals. And unlike the jackal, which relies on attrition and ambush, the baboon is a direct fighter, capable of turning the tables with a single strike. Adult males have even been recorded facing leopards and surviving. So yes, if the ring were the savannah, the crown would stay with the baboon. Now look, have you noticed that this duel is a lot like real life? Sometimes you're the jackal, quick, strategic, needing your group to achieve something bigger. Other times you're the baboon, facing the problem head on, baring your teeth and handling things alone. The question is, today, are you leaning more toward cunning or brute strength? Number 10, baboon versus African python. Picture the African savanna at dusk. The sun scorches the horizon and the dust hanging in the air transforms the setting into the perfect stage for an unlikely duel. On one side, the baboon, tense muscles, sharp canines, intelligence as sharp as a blade. On the other, coiled among roots and shadows, the African python, one of the largest constrictors in the world, a living steel cable that can exceed 5 meters of pure power. The baboon is not just brute strength, he is strategy. Living in organized troops, he knows when to attack, when to retreat, and how to use his mind to survive. His face may look funny, but behind the expression, there is calculation. Canines up to 5 centimeters long, comparable to those of a young lion, can tear skin and muscle effortlessly. His agile body is capable of quick, explosive movements, like an MMA fighter trained for years for the fight. But if the baboon is the strategist, the African python is nature's inevitable force. It doesn't need venom. Its attack is the embrace of death. Once it coils around its victim, every breath the animal tries to take is turned against it. The squeeze tightens, the air escapes, and in minutes, it's all over. We're talking about up to 90 kilograms of pure muscle fiber compressing bones, crushing organs, draining the adversary's life. Now think, the baboon attacks in groups, but alone he's at risk. The initial bite may be powerful, but if the snake grabs one of his limbs, arm, leg, or even the torso, the fight changes completely. It's no wonder the African python can hunt antelopes and even young crocodiles. Imagine the strangulation in action, silent, methodical, lethal. On the other hand, the baboon's agility offers advantages. He's not an animal that surrenders his body easily. Leaps, scratches, quick bites, all combined with the intelligence to identify the serpent's weak spot, the head. If he manages to bite or strike that region, he can win before the snake fully coils around him. So here's the dilemma: inescapable strength versus fierce cunning. In the savannah ring, who takes the crown? The verdict. Although the African python has almost unbeatable constriction power, the baboon's intelligence, agility, and natural weapons, especially his canines and reflexes, give him the edge in a direct confrontation. The snake relies on a perfect strike to start its fatal embrace. The baboon, with mobility and precise attacks, has more chances to inflict lethal damage first. Therefore, the winner is the baboon. But careful, before you go around thinking you're smarter than him, remember, this monkey has canines bigger than yours. And between us, do you really think you'd survive his serious stare in the savannah? Number 9, baboon versus crowned eagle. The baboon is a tank on 4 legs, muscles bulging under the skin, teeth straight out of a nightmare of sharp fangs, and an aggressiveness with no limits. When a baboon feels threatened, it's not just noise, it's screaming, charging, a show of force that would make even the bravest hesitate. His fangs can reach over 5 centimeters, comparable in size to a young lion's. And they're not just for show, they're built to tear, pierce, and intimidate. Beyond that, these primates have strategic intelligence. They know how to cooperate in groups, assess risks, and avoid charging blindly into battle. With a robust body and strong limbs, they can make explosive leaps, violent grabs, and deliver bites that crush small bones. Face to face, the baboon is a true gladiator of the savannah. On the other side rises the crowned eagle, the queen of the African skies. Unlike other birds of prey, it doesn't rely solely on speed. It brings raw power. The talons of this eagle are curved daggers, with a crushing force rivaling the bite of a large dog. To put it into perspective, crowned eagles have been recorded taking down prey heavier than themselves, like young antelopes and medium-sized monkeys. The flight is silent, almost ghostly, and the descent is pure physics. Dozens of kilometers per hour concentrated into a lethal impact. This bird doesn't need to prolong the fight. It arrives, grabs, and the world ends for the victim. Now imagine these two forces of nature in combat terms. On one side, the baboon with intelligence, endurance, and devastating teeth. On the other, the crowned eagle with unforgiving talons and the advantage of surprise aerial attacks. Which weapon weighs more? The baboon has terrestrial strength but lacks real defense against an attack from above. He might react with speed, try a strike, even scare the eagle with screams and teeth, but one slip, 1 second of distraction, and the talons close in. The pressure is so great that primates' bones have been crushed in fractions of a second. On the other hand, if the baboon manages to grab this powerful bird, it would be the end, the embrace of muscles and fangs against fragile bones and feathers. But here lies the eagle's mastery. It doesn't give chances, it doesn't fight on the ground, it doesn't prolong. Its strategy is simple and efficient: descend, strike, ascend. And the verdict? The crowned eagle takes the crown. Its combination of surprise, precision, and deadly talons makes it the perfect predator in a one-on-one encounter. The baboon is brutal, yes, but against an aerial assault, his strength becomes almost irrelevant. Now, what about you, reader? Would you bet on the baboon just because he looks tougher? Careful, in nature, it's not the size of the muscle that rules. It's the efficiency of the weapon. The crowned eagle reminds us all that sometimes the perfect strike is worth more than brute force. Number 8, baboon versus African buffalo. Picture the African savanna in silence. The sun beats hard, dust rises from the ground, and from one side comes the baboon. Not just any monkey. With canines rivaling those of a leopard and explosive agility, this animal is a true warrior of both trees and soil. His fangs can tear flesh as easily as they tear fruit. In groups, they are chaotic, violent, and unafraid to face larger enemies. But here, it's one-on-one. Alone, the baboon knows he'll need to rely on intelligence, speed, and that intimidating glare of, if you come closer, you'll regret it. From the other side enters the African buffalo, and here, there's no poetry. It's a tank of muscles with horns that look like medieval weapons. We're talking about an animal that can weigh over 800 kilograms and carry such overwhelming brute strength that even lions hesitate before attacking. It's not called the lion killer for nothing. It has stamina, aggression, and when it lowers its head to charge, it's like watching an out-of-control car with blades on the front. In the imaginary ring, the comparison is clear. The baboon brings intelligence, quick reflexes, lethal bites, and surprising ferocity. He's agile, knows how to dodge, and knows how to wait for the right moment. The African buffalo, on the other hand, is pure brutality. A single horn strike can snap bones like twigs. Its hide is thick, its body mass a fortress, and its endurance turns any fight into a marathon of power. Now let's be honest, as impressive as the baboon is, his chances here are almost nil. He could bite, scream, scratch, but every attack would feel like a mosquito bite against the fortress that is the buffalo. And if the buffalo decides to truly charge, it's over. One advance can send the baboon flying meters into the air, turning the fight into instant tragedy. The winner, no suspense, the African buffalo. Strength, endurance, and natural weapons make it a true monster of the savannah, far beyond what the baboon could face alone. And now, time for your connection, reader. If you thought that big cousin at family barbecues was intimidating, think again. Next to an African buffalo, he's just a kitten meowing. And the baboon, well, let's just say he represents us when we try to argue with someone who always has the last word. Moral of the story, sometimes it's better not to pick a fight with someone who has 800 kilos of arguments. Number 7, baboon versus hippopotamus. Imagine the scene. On one side, a baboon, agile, clever, with teeth capable of surprising anyone who underestimates its strength. On the other, a hippopotamus, the colossal water giant, owner of one of the most brutal bites in the animal kingdom. The size difference is striking, but when analyzed point by point, each carries unique weapons. The baboon, the clever warrior of the savannah. The baboon may seem small next to a hippo, but never underestimate this primate. Bite strength. A baboon can apply a bite of about 500 psi, enough to pierce thick skin of smaller predators and cause serious injury. Its surprisingly long canines are like small daggers ready to pierce. Agility. Not just strength, but speed. Climbs trees, leaps with dexterity, and moves on land with quick reflexes. Intelligence. As a primate, it uses strategy, knows when to attack, when to retreat, and how to distract larger enemies. A brutal cognitive advantage in the animal world. Group resistance. Baboons rarely travel alone. In troops, they can repel even large predators like leopards. Alone, however, the story changes. The hippopotamus, the invincible river tank. If the baboon is clever, the hippo is pure brute force. Bite strength, 1-800 to 2000 psi, among nature's champions. Its tusks, over 50 centimeter long, tear, crush, and break bones like dry twigs. Size and weight. An adult male can reach 3,500 kilos. Even without biting, the impact of a body this size is devastating. Durability. Thick skin, hard to penetrate, with a body structure that withstands attacks from fierce animals like lions or crocodiles. Territorial behavior. The hippo isn't just heavy, it's extremely aggressive. Few animals dare provoke its wrath. Direct comparison, raw strength, overwhelming advantage for the hippo. Speed. Baboon is faster in short bursts, but surprisingly, the hippo can reach up to 30-kilometer-h on land, a speed that doesn't match its colossal size. Intelligence. Baboon takes the edge here. It manipulates situations, uses distractions, and finds gaps. Endurance. Hippo is basically an armored tank, while the baboon relies on evasion and strategy. Winner. Despite the baboon's cleverness, the imbalance of power is undeniable. The hippo has attack, defense, and endurance levels far above the primate. In a direct confrontation, there's no doubt the hippopotamus wins. Now, think about it. Would you rather face the brute force of a hippo or the cunning of a baboon? Number 6, baboon versus elephant. Imagine the scene. On one side, the baboon, a muscular monkey with sharp teeth and a near-insane temperament. Agile and quick, it doesn't hesitate to show canines like knives ready to cut. To medium-sized animals, the baboon is practically a neighborhood bully, stealing food, invading territories, and facing predators with fearless courage. Strong arms, precise jumps, and sharp intelligence make it unpredictable, and life in a group amplifies its power, because a lone baboon is trouble, but in a troop, it's an army. On the other side, the mental arena introduces the elephant, a living colossus, reaching 6 tons of pure strength, ivory tusks like spears, a multifunctional trunk, and feet. Each could spell tragic doom for any opponent with a single step. But it's not only brutality. Elephants have impressive intelligence, sharp memories, and strategy. They use branches as tools, protect offspring with military discipline, and communicate complex emotions. An angry elephant is not merely irritated, it's a conscious, uncertain unstoppable avalanche. Combat strengths, baboon. Agility, sharp teeth, fast attacks, primate cunning. Against smaller predators or unprepared humans, it holds advantage. High endurance and a fighting instinct until the end. Elephant, enormous brute strength, untouchable size, thick nearly impenetrable skin, and the trunk as a weapon that can knock down or throw. No matter how fast the baboon is, one wrong move and it's under tons of weight. Winner, the elephant, no doubt about it. Now, a fun connection. If you were betting on this fight, would you honestly choose the baboon? Go on, admit it. It's like the scrappy street fighter until a truck shows up. The elephant? That's the truck. Tip, cheer for the baboon, but stay on the elephant's side. 6 tons of friendship on your side isn't bad. Number 5, baboon versus cheetah. Imagine the golden savanna, where 2 completely different worlds meet. On one side, the baboon, muscular, clever, aggressive. On the other, the cheetah, nature's speed machine, built to run like its muscles are on fire. 2 combat styles, 2 philosophies rarely clashing. But today, we put them face to face. Brains, claws, and fangs. The baboon may lack feline elegance, but it compensates with brutality and intelligence. Its canines are almost the size of a lion's. Yes, a lion, a creature not known for friendliness. When provoked, it screams, bares teeth, and attacks with insane courage. Not to mention, baboons live in troops. United, they form a gang armed to the teeth. A single male can weigh over 40 kilos of muscle, with arms capable of tearing and gripping like iron tongs. The cheetah, fastest feline on Earth, reaches over 110 km/h in seconds, the biological equivalent of a Formula 1 car. But speed has a cost. Cheetahs aren't built for prolonged fights, only quick, precise attacks. Semi-retractable claws act like cleats, providing perfect traction. Powerful jaws can catch a gazelle's neck in seconds. Efficient killer, but fragile. Unlike lions or leopards, cheetahs can't endure a prolonged battle or face a direct adversary. Scene setup, cheetah runs, twists, strikes with supernatural speed. The baboon can't match that pace in open ground. But cornered, climbing a tree, or ambushed in a group, the story changes. The primate has sharp claws, a terrifying bite, and above all, courage bordering on madness. Not intimidated by roars, responds with even more fury. Direct duel one-on-one, cruel for the feline. The cheetah may land an initial blow, but one slip, one mistake, and the baboon grabs it like a gladiator. No escape. Winner, baboon. Stronger, more resilient, more versatile in physical combat. The cheetah wins in speed, but in hand-to-hand, the crown belongs to the primate. Fun thought, if a baboon had to defend its banana from a hungry cheetah, would you still bet on the feline? Or imagine a wild race. Baboon driving, cheetah chasing. Savannah would never be the same. Number 4, baboon versus African wild dog, lycaon. Imagine 2 savanna beasts that at first glance seem very different but share one thing: life in groups and survival amidst larger predators. On one side, the baboon, a robust, clever primate with jaws that would make many carnivores jealous. On the other, the African wild dog, famous not for individual strength but for military-like pack discipline and stamina that would rival any marathoner. The baboon is a mini fortress, over 30 kilos, dense muscles, arms strong as levers, but the real trump is its mouth, canines up to 5 centimeters, almost the size of a lion's teeth. Its bite is powerful enough to tear flesh and crush medium bones. Baboons also have remarkable intelligence, improvising, intimidating, manipulating the environment, not just brute force, natural strategists. In combat, a baboon can stand, use arms to grab, even strike. The lycaon, smaller, lighter, but deadly in the right context. One weighs about 25 kilos, but don't be fooled. Its bite is absurdly efficient, adapted to slicing flesh quickly. Unlike big cats that take down prey in one go, wild dogs tear piece by piece, keeping pressure until the victim can no longer resist. And stamina, they can run kilometers without losing pace, pursuing prey to exhaustion. Direct combat, 1 baboon versus 1 wild dog. Alone, the dog loses its biggest advantage, the pack. It may attack and retreat, but lacks the power to withstand the baboon's bite or violent blows. The baboon, even without about long-distance endurance, wields far more devastating weapons in a short fight. One precise strike can turn the tide. Pack scenario changes everything. Coordinated attacks, relentless biting, wearing down the primate. But one-on-one, the baboon wins. Its crushing bite, intelligence, and physical strength surpass the speed and technique of a single wild dog. Now ask yourself, in the savannah, if you saw these two face-to-face, who would you bet on? The starving wild dog or the baboon bearing saber-like teeth? Just beware. Laughing at the baboon might make you its next target. Number 3. Baboon versus Black Mamba. Imagine putting face-to-face two icons of African wilderness, the baboon, a muscular primate with sharp fangs and unpredictable behavior, against the black mamba, perhaps the most feared reptile on the continent. The result? A clash of cunning versus lethality, teeth against venom. Let's start with the baboon. This monkey is not just a big monkey, it's a true tank with steel-like muscles and fangs that can reach 5 centimeters, sharper than those of a leopard. Its bite is strong enough to crush bones, and its social intelligence makes it a natural strategist. A baboon doesn't act purely with brute force. It observes, calculates, deceives, and even uses objects as weapons. If it senses danger, it can climb trees, use height to its advantage, and even coordinate group attacks. Now, the crawling terror star, the black mamba, famous not only for its venom, but also for terrifying speed. It can slither nearly 20 km/h, fast enough to surprise even the most agile predators. Its venom is a cocktail of neurotoxins that paralyzes and kills in minutes. A single bite can inject enough venom to drop 10 adult humans. Unlike many snakes that bite and retreat, the black mamba strikes repeatedly, delivering multiple bites in sequence like a lethal automatic machine. Who has the advantage here? The baboon is resilient, agile, and smart enough to avoid a strike. It can use strong hands to hold and crush the snake before a fatal bite lands. Many primates have been observed killing snakes with quick strikes or even throwing stones. But here, we're talking about the black mamba, and any mistake, any miscalculated approach is a death sentence. A precise bite leaves little time for reaction before succumbing to venom. However, in terms of raw strength and versatility, the baboon takes the edge. It doesn't need to confront the strike directly. It can attack from above, use the environment, or simply shred the snake with its jaws. The mamba is lethal, but depends on a perfect strike. The baboon can make a few errors and still stay in the game. Winner. Baboon. Its intelligence, strength, and resilience make it more dangerous in a one-on-one, even against Africa's most feared venom. Now, think carefully. If you were in the African savannah, would you want the cold, calculated mamba or the brute muscle and cunning of the baboon on your side? Choose wisely. One mistake could make you lunch. Number 2, baboon versus alpha male orangutan. On one side, the baboon, the feisty primate of the African savannah. On the other, the alpha male orangutan, the silent giant of Southeast Asian tropical forests. Two different worlds, two completely distinct combat styles. But if these titans faced each other, who would have the upper hand? The baboon is much more than a feisty monkey. Equipped with fangs up to 5 centimeters, worthy of a carnivorous predator, it can face leopards in groups, and alone, it remains explosive, agile, fast, muscular. Built to run and leap, it uses aggression as a psychological weapon, intimidating with deafening screams and direct attacks. When it fights, it bites, tears, and holds firmly, proving size doesn't matter when ferocity comes into play. Its strength lies in speed and boldness, often compensating for its smaller body mass. The alpha male orangutan is a true jungle colossus, over 1.4 meters tall and up to 120 kilos pure brute force. Long arms spanning 2 meters make every grab a statement of dominance. Unlike the baboon, it doesn't rely on agility, but on overwhelming physical power. An orangutan can bend iron bars in captivity, giving an idea of its musculature. Its teeth are formidable, though not as long as the baboon's. Its bite is extremely strong, able to crush tough fruit shells, and, in combat, pierce a rival's flesh. The orangutan's advantage is strategic intelligence, more calculated, patient, and capable of using the environment environment, branches as improvised tools, height to ambush. Against the impulsive, aggressive baboon, the orangutan benefits from restraint, waiting for the perfect strike, whether a suffocating grab or a devastating throw. Decisive comparison, the baboon may be faster, but the orangutan is over twice as large and infinitely stronger. Like comparing a lightweight agile fighter to a heavyweight champion, the small fighter impresses with technique, but when the muscle wall lands a hit, the fight ends. The baboon only has a chance if it lands a lightning strike targeting sensitive areas like the eyes or face. Most of the time, it would be overwhelmed. Winner, alpha male orangutan. Its combination of monumental strength, intelligence, and endurance puts the baboon at a clear disadvantage. While the baboon is wilder and unpredictable, against an adult orangutan, it is simply too small to handle true jungle power. Now ask yourself, would you rather face the baboon, charging without thinking, or the orangutan silently planning how to end you in one move? Sometimes silence is scarier than noise. Number 1, baboon versus mountain gorilla. Imagine the African savanna in slow motion. On one side, the baboon, a medium-sized, agile monkey, fierce when provoked. On the other, the mountain gorilla, a true nature titan, with muscles carved like stone. This isn't a clash of equals, but an analysis of cunning versus brute force. The baboon has underestimated weapons. Canines reach 5 centimeters, larger proportionally than a lion's. They aren't just for defense, they intimidate and tear flesh. Its mind is quick. Baboons are highly intelligent, form groups, and have Olympic-level reflexes. Quick leaps, sharp claws, and unpredictable attacks are part of its strategy. Speed and cunning could give the baboon an early advantage, especially in constant movement. But the mountain gorilla, a colossus, males can weigh up to 220 kilos and lift more than 800 kilos of pure strength. Broad chest, long arms, robust back, the perfect combat machine. Its canines, even larger than the baboons, are displayed in power shows that can chill any adversary. Chest beating isn't theatrics, it announces a living wall ready to crush any rival. Beyond strength, there's endurance. Gorillas can run on all fours with surprising speed, and a grip can easily break bones. Unlike the baboon, which relies on speed and cunning, the gorilla uses raw power and physical dominance. One strike can decide it all. Comparing, the baboon can bite and use agility to evade direct attacks, but in a real fight, it wouldn't stand a chance against the muscle mass and overwhelming force of a mountain gorilla, like a clever street fighter against a champion weightlifter who also knows combat. The scales inevitably tip toward the stronger. Winner, mountain gorilla, without contest. The baboon's ferocity fades against the gorilla's brute power. Now tell me, would you root for the small, clever baboon representing wit and boldness, or the gorilla, the unbeatable jungle wall? Deep down, do you identify more with the agile intelligence of the baboon, or the crushing strength of the gorilla? Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed our content, subscribe to our channel and leave a like. Check out other exciting videos appearing on your screen right now, and I'll see you in the next one. Until next time.